What's up, guys? Now, somewhere in the vastness of all this behind me is actually a historical artifact. Stay tuned. What's up, you guys? FSC Speed Shop. Just the other day I dropped a new video of us with our boat running up and down the Fox River. We started off at the Menasha Lock, went into Lake Winnebago, through Oshkosh, through Lake Butamore, and down the upper Fox River up until the town of Berlin, Wisconsin, which also brought us through the lock at Eureka. The lock in Eureka, if you watched the other video, you've seen that that lock is operated by the Berlin Boat Club. That guy over there told us that you could get a boat from there all the way down to here. Right here is Princeton, Wisconsin. We drove the lowered olds down here because we simply didn't have the opportunity to try to bring the boat down. And to be honest, the river does look kind of narrow, but then again, it did from Eureka up to Omro, so you know what? It really shouldn't be an issue. But we figured let's just come down here and take some footage. And they're probably asking, why did I come down here with the car to take footage when I could have came back with the boat? The other reason is, when I dropped that video, I started looking up on the internet, and here in Princeton, there's an issue with the dam that's behind me. Now, directly behind me where that little bridge, directly behind me where the little walkway bridge is the old lock that no longer is operational. I'll show you in a moment. They're now using it as a spillway, a controlled spillway, to go around the dam. From the quick glance that I've been looking on the internet, what the issue is why they're redoing this dam is Puckaway Lake. Puckaway Lake is slowly disappearing due to the fact the water levels are receding. Now, let's go back in history class. If you think about it, the canals, the rivers, the locks, and dams were all done for river barging, okay? So in the end, to rise the levels of the rivers up to make them navigable for ships and barges, they had to dam them up, and to get the different heights of river to work together with boating, you had to build the locks. Raising up rivers also built lakes that didn't used to be there. Now, I don't know how big Puckaway Lake was in the early 1800s, but apparently it's there now. I don't know. I could look and put in the video upon editing this when this dam was built, but I believe it was around 1927. The dam is being chewed off at the top, and hence the upper Fox River upstream south of us is lowering, hence the lake is also lowering. So they're planning on rebuilding this dam. I wanted to come down here today. This is middle to the end of September of 2019. I wanted to come down today so I can film a little bit of before, so we can see what it looks like, kind of do a before and after of the whole thing. So for now, let's just talk the overview of what this whole system was. Originally, they wanted to figure out a way to get boats and barges and commerce from Lake Michigan all the way down to the Mississippi River. Well, how did they do that? The original idea was, prior to Chicago building their sanitary and ship canal, was they used the Fox River. Now, the Fox River starts up what modern day Green Bay is and comes down to Menasha. It enters Lake Winnebago up by Menasha and comes out at Oshkosh. The Fox goes through Oshkosh, enters a lake called Lake Butamore. You cross that bridge all the time if you're a local, because that's where Interstate 41 goes. So during this trip from Green Bay down to Lake Winnebago, there are 17 locks to go through, because when you're coming from Green Bay in this direction, you're traveling upstream. So in other words, the river flows this direction. You're traveling upstream against the flow to get from Green Bay, and you're climbing up as you go. The elevation is much higher in Lake Winnebago than it is in Green Bay. Ultimately, you come through Lake Winnebago, through Oshkosh, into Lake Butamore, and then start down the Fox River. When you get into the town of Eureka is when you hit your next lock. Now that lock is the one I mentioned earlier. That lock is ran by the Berlin Boat Club. You continue on, you come into the town of Berlin. Keep going through that. After a good while, you wind up here in the town of Princeton. Through Princeton, you wind up through another town. I think it's Modelo. I'm not sure on the name. There's another lock there, and then you carried on all the way into Portage, Wisconsin. Portage, Wisconsin is named that because back in the days when the Native Americans were running around here prevalently, the name Portage is from the word portage. It was the only spot from the entire river system where you had to portage or carry your canoe from one river to the other, because the Fox River never intersects with the Wisconsin River, and the Wisconsin River will take you to the Mississippi. So if you follow this big, huge loop, you actually can go all the way around the tip of Florida, up the Atlantic Ocean, cross the Erie Canal, through the Great Lakes, into Lake Michigan, through the Fox River, right through here, all the way through Portage, Wisconsin, into the Wisconsin River, and then into the Mississippi River, all the way down through the Gulf and down the tip of Florida, aka the Great Loop. Now down in Portage, they built a canal to get you from the Fox River to the Wisconsin River, and had 2 locks down there as well to control that canal. The Portage Canal is no longer in service. They have built roads over it to now where there's just culverts going through. It's just like little pipes about that big. And on the other side of the Portage Lock, there is a berm that separates the canal from the Wisconsin River. So it's all been ruined, but maybe one day they can rebuild it. I don't know, but that's how it used to work. So why are we here? Well, yes, we do an automotive channel, but motorsports in general, boating included. And one of the things I would love to see, if ever possible, is to get all these things back open for the boating community to start using these rivers, because to be honest, these rivers are for more than just people that fish. Right here, in fact, there's an electric fish barrier right off to the side. I didn't even know that was here, but apparently it is. So this technology that's controversial in Menasha and Rapid Crush up in the lower Fox is in use right here. With that being said, I'm trying to put these videos out there to try to get the fishing community and the boating community together in agreement that the waterways are for everyone. And right now, this river, other than putting your boat in the water right here, which is possible, you can do that. I also want to speak on another thing. If Matt will pan the camera down here, there's a boat ramp down there. Pan the camera back, there's a Chevy Impala parked over by. And over here by that Chevy, there's a boat ramp over there. So in other words, my point is, walk with me. So in other words, my point is, you could take a boat from one side of the fish barrier to the other in about 10 minutes. Makes you wonder how effective this stuff is. You're not gonna abandon fishing. So just food for thought when it comes to the lower Fox River. We're gonna do another video in the future, and probably next year, about the lower Fox River and her 17 locks. But for right now, I wanted to bring up the idea of what's here. Now the sun comes out. So we're standing right on the middle of the walkway that goes over the old Princeton lock. You can see behind me, the waterway comes from behind us down this direction. I'd point the camera that way, but with the sun just came out, you're not gonna see the best of shots. So the water flows from this direction and comes out behind me here, going that direction. The direction this way is towards Omro, Berlin, Lake Winnebago, and so forth. On this side, you can see they're using the lock as a spillway right here. I'll walk over and get better shots in a moment. But the electric fish barrier is right there. Here you can see the notches for the old lock doors. Now we're walking on the old limestone top of the lock. This is one of the old lugs. You've seen these in other videos. This is where they would tie the barges to raise and lower them. But if you look over here, you see this notch. This is where the turnstile would be. The turnstile would be over here, right about where I'm standing, and the iron rod that would go side to side would come through this notch and open and close the doors through this notch. But the turnstile would be somewhere out here in the grass. The lock doors would open, holding back the water from this direction. And you can see where Matthew is standing, the roundness of this hinge, right where his feet are. Also same on the other side. Another thing I noticed is that notch that's on this side isn't over there. They just put a cement cap on it right there where that bench now is. Now another thing of curiosity is these iron pieces right here. Looks quite old, sitting in the water. Makes me wonder what was there. But either way, this is what the lock looks like currently. Now right behind me right here where the spillway is, if you look over by the electrical panel, you see the notch for the old lock doors that used to be there. Again, right near where Matthew's standing, right over here is where you'll see the concave part where the door hinge was. Either way, the electrical panel right there this is the electrical fish barrier that they have set up. And as you can see, they're using the lock as a spillway to help control the water once it's below the actual dam level. Now, we haven't showed you the dam yet, so let's go ahead and walk over there and show you what the issue is and why they're rebuilding it. Now, behind me is what's left of the Princeton Dam. Now, as you can tell, the height upstream from downstream is basically the same. Now, what I'm understanding is Lake Puckaway upstream is not as tall as it once was because the dam needs to be rebuilt and replaced. I don't know how tall it originally was. I have to look. Right here is the year it was built. Obviously, I looked up this information after I filmed, but before I edited. Here's the year it was built. So what I'm reading is the river is too low on that end, and I guess the right height here, I'm assuming. So the question now remains, as far as I'm concerned from a boater's perspective, can this ever be back opened up navigable, and is it navigable? Well, boat ramps on each side, clearly boats get put in. I don't see why not. You just have to watch your depth and what kind of boat you're running. But again, very large barges and river boats used to run through here. So, but this is the dam as it stands, and you're gonna go ahead and rebuild this. The lady that was here fishing a little while ago, we were talking, we're trying to figure out, of course we're not privy to the designs, when they build a cofferdam upstream, where are they diverting all this water? I mean, it's a pretty good amount of water. Granted, it has been raining an awful lot recently, and I don't know if the river is high compared to normal, or I don't know what this normally looks like. Now, the lady told me that there has been times where all this was completely underwater from floods in the past. I'm not really sure. I know when it rains real heavy, the Fox gets real high. There's no wake zones all up the Wolf River, up the Fox River. It's a boating nightmare. You got to go so slow, but then you got the debris in the water, which you can see right there. But me and the lady were discussing how they were going to do it and whether they should and all this other whatnot. Like I said earlier, the rivers are for both of us, for the people that fish, for the people that boat. We got to figure out how to do this in harmony. Again, I'm really hoping that one day they open this up, and that's why I do these videos. If nothing else, you could come out by boat and see what is available. Because like you saw in the last video, river running is a lot of fun, and it's awesome. The views are spectacular, okay? So if anything else you get out of this, even if they never do anything here as far as rebuilding a lock and all this stuff with the dam, come out and check it out anyway. And if you don't live anywhere near here, we'll find one near you. Surely there's a river somewhere near where you live. We're at the end of the little island between the dam and the lock. The lock you see right over here, and the dam, what's left of it's over there. There's a local fisherman I was just talking to. He's actually chasing catfish, and he explained to me that that dam basically is like a bridge, and the water is high compared to normal, but that dam is never visible. So again, that dam clearly is not functioning like they believe it should, so that's why they're redoing it. So just to reiterate, down that way is Portage, Wisconsin, Puckaway Lake, and so on. That's upstream. Downstream this direction, Amro, Wisconsin, Berlin, Eureka, Lake Winnebago, all of that whatnot. Thank you for watching. I'm not sure how entertaining this video would be as much as it was intended for educational purposes. Hopefully it was a good educational video to see what opportunities exist out here all along the upper Fox River. As I stated earlier, I'm hoping that one day they'll get this all straightened up for the fishing community and for the boating community to live in harmony, okay? We see the electric fish barrier, we see the busted up lock. Obviously I spoke about they're gonna start on the dam pretty soon, so I wanted to get these shots. Again, let you guys see what's available out here. So hopefully we'll make it back up here with our boat, whether we come from here and go that direction, whether we start from here and head back towards Berlin, or start in Berlin, come up here and turn around and go back. Either way, it'd be a nice little ride. Hopefully we'll get that done sometime next year. I don't see it happening this year, but you never know, we'll see. Obviously when we do, we'll go ahead and film it and bring it to you. So you can check out all my other videos. Hopefully that'll at least keep you entertained, this one being more of the educational side, but what the heck. Go ahead and check out my other videos, they're obviously much more entertaining. Obviously while you're out there, go ahead and grab my merch, fscspeedshop.com. I got Cream Machine shirts left over, those are limited run, I doubt I'll be making them anymore. And then I got the pinup girl shirts available as well, that's what I'm wearing right here. Also check me out on Instagram, FSC_speed_shop. That's where you'll find me on Instagram. Try to keep up with me there, see what kind of stuff we're getting into. Usually you'll see it there before you see it here on YouTube. With that being said, I am Steve Feschek. This is FSC, Feschek Speed and Custom Shop, here in Princeton, Wisconsin. What else can I do for you?